Hello and welcome to another edition of the Sales Circle, where we intend to bring you lots of useful hints, tips, advice on everything to do with sales, marketing and business growth. Now this week, I'm very excited about this week's guest. I'm obviously going to say that about every guest, of course. However, I'd like to introduce to you my good friend, Emily King from Fraser James Blinds. Hello, Emily.
Hi, Rob.
Hello. Good to see you. I thought we were going to go for a full on. But the reason Emily is so special to me is because for, goodness, 2 years,
maybe a bit more.
Probably should have researched. We actually worked together. Emily was one of the founding telemarketers within Paragon Sales Solutions. We worked together for a good few years, had some great memories.
Definitely.
And had some random adventures up and down the country. So Emily, listen, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you for inviting me. It's very exciting. It's my first podcast, blog, whatever we're calling it. It's my first one, so thank you very much.
Well, we'll go easy on it.
Thank you.
Fraser James Blinds. Tell me about Fraser James Blinds and tell me a bit about your role.
Okay, so FJB have been in Leicestershire for, it is 13 years now, and we also work across Warwickshire and Northamptonshire. Started off supplying installation of blinds, window dressings, and there's obviously many varieties of those. Moved on to wooden shutters, which is probably now our biggest sale. Then on to awnings. And now, in fact, this year we're launching kind of our outdoor living range of products, which is your pergolas, verandas, kind of glass rooms and things like that. So, yeah, quite rapid growth. Rapid growth through COVID, which is, was fantastic for us, although obviously we realised that, wasn't the same for every company. But yeah, everyone was queuing around the corner at B&Q, weren't they, for paint and fence paint and everything else. So, the next step addition to that was new window covering. So I was brought in September 21 to... Yeah.
Upset me.
That's it.
When you left.
But I did. I was brought in to kind of maintain that. I think the fear for a lot of people at that time was, a lot of the companies that had grown during that time were then quite fearful of it suddenly plummeting.
Suddenly dropping out.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't know economically like where we were as a country. There was quite a lot of fear at that time. So it was a case of, right, let's absolutely, we've already established ourselves within the market. Let's keep at it and just kind of see what the future brings. So that it does mean a very varied role. But that makes it, quite exciting. I'm doing different things every day. There are certain things that I certainly do have responsibility over. And then, there's room for ideas, basically, which is the bit that I really enjoy about it.
Amazing. So would you say that you are a salesperson or a business development manager? Where do you kind of fit yourself on that spectrum?
Business development manager, I think, fits better because it is quite, as it says, it's a bit more varied. We work obviously B2B and B2C. So when I am communicating with our domestic audience, there's routes that we use for that. So the social media, obviously these days, is absolutely fundamental within that. Having the website up to date, nice and quick, easy to use, and visually lovely, very, very important. And then just the way that naturally people look for companies to work for and with now. The G word, like you can't not be absolutely smashing Google now. You just can't. Everyone's little handheld computer takes you straight there. So again, that's massive. So that kind of keeps itself ticking through. We're in a very lucky position that we get a lot of repeat business and a lot of kind of recommendations. We're very lucky there. I say lucky, but that's because we keep up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the customer service and the quality of the products is there, so they speak for themselves. But yeah, kind of keeping on at the installers for getting me some nice juicy reviews and taking lovely pictures for me that I can use for social media. That can be a job. But yeah, so and then on the B2B side of stuff, I'd say it's quite a different story. So there's different tactics, in ways that we communicate with that commercial audience. Whether that be the good old ring them up, have a chat.
Right, okay. You still do that?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. LinkedIn's huge for me.
Can you imagine?
And then really it's the networking side of stuff, which is good from both points of view because brand awareness
Yes.
is massive. And people know me as the blind lady, and I don't know, I was annoyed about
Not
it
the
at first.
fact around with the white stick.
No, but the amount of puns and jokes that I made about it. But it's only good because if you're remembering me for a reason, then that's fine. And whether it's because I've got a pea jacket on, or I've got my silly glasses on, or whatever it might be. They are, yeah, but I wasn't even talking about those ones actually. I've got some that I've got like a tiara basically on them, obviously. So yeah, whatever it might be, you see my face on LinkedIn, or because I'm at some charity awards, or you see the branding somewhere, or I'm out and about here and there, whatever I'm doing, and you might not need me now, but when you recognise my face and my name and what I do, and you need some blinds, hopefully I'm right there in the fort. Yeah, that's it. Like, I know someone who can do that for me. And then, it's like I said, that the telemarketing is still very much alive. I might meet someone at an event and think, oh, we'll have a conversation. We exchange business cards.
Yeah.
We connect on LinkedIn. But actually, when it's an organisation that could be very fruitful for us, property development, facilities management, kind of construction companies, house builders, HMOs, things like that, student accommodation, all this stuff that we do, the best way still to have that conversation is to ring them up. Whether I then invite them over for a coffee, or I go over to them and, with some samples and talk to them about what we can do, but it starts on the phone.
So why do you think the telephone gets a bad rap with sort of salespeople and business owners?
Because I think it's been done poorly in the past. Nobody wants to feel like they're number 25 on a list of 100. Now, you generally are. We all have a list. But the skill is making them kind of almost feel unaware of that. Yeah. So it's rapport building. It's the know, like, and trust. You told me this about, there's, 7 touch points before I said?
Yeah.
I want to say 7.
Wow, okay.
Still got it. So yeah, you might see you'll see something on social media, someone will mention it to you, you see a van driving by, you see my truck at Foss Park.
You can't miss, Emily.
You can't miss my truck at Foss Park. Or actually where I live, it's like really good advertising because I'm on kind of a main road. So whatever those first couple of points are, when it comes down to it, if you haven't had that conversation and got to actually know me and the business, then you might not engage. So yeah, to pick the phone up and Chinese people are, LinkedIn messaging for me doesn't work because I think a lot of people do it again, and a lot of people do it badly. I don't want to read something that's generic as much as I don't want to hear something that's generic.
Yes.
So we need guidelines. You know what you want to talk about, how you need to say it. Just don't sound like a robot.
Exactly. And I think it comes back to that old, I think you are exactly right. Everyone wants to feel that they're wanted and sort of wants to do business with. Even just this morning, weirdly, I had, believe it or not, another telemarketing agency, right? Bearing in mind, Paragon Sales Solutions are an award-winning telemarketing agency.
How do they not know that?
You'll see. But they actually cold emailed me saying, have you ever considered telemarketing for your business? And it included a case study as to why telemarketing is so good.
That's so horrendous, though, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, I'm not one of these people that will email back and say, look, you said, but I think automatically in that scenario,
straight away,
you've not taken your time to research me. You don't even care. You've sent out 1,000 emails in the hope that someone says yes. And I always go back to, it's like swiping right on Tinder. You're going to find the love of your life, or Grindr. You're not going to find the love of your life. That was but you know what I'm trying to say. So it's quite interesting. Your role is quite varied. Do you find that there's a difference between how you sell, then sort of put yourself in front of a, like a B2B customer and a B2C customer? Is there a difference? Do you act differently?
No. Not anymore, anyway, because I've just found that if you treat people like humans, like they are, and you show some personality, it doesn't really matter whether that person wants one roll of blind in their bathroom or they want 500 blinds in a new build. I've probably had more relaxed conversations with the construction manager of some huge development than I have with someone that doesn't want to part with £200.
Yeah.
I don't generally get in front of the domestic people, to be honest, because that's kind of done really by our kind of outgoing sales advisors. But with the commercial stuff, that is me, and I do think it's it's almost like community relations. It's almost that kind of the bridge between the inquiry and the actual sale is me.
Yes.
So they need to like me. I need to be open and honest, and clear communication, clear timelines on things. And we could get something in last minute. We've pulled something in just after Christmas. It's like I'd heard about they'd inquired maybe in the summer. We might have this job. We don't know what timescales. Not really sure, Emily. Don't really. The guy actually said to me on the phone, "I don't care about blinds," which hurt me deeply, obviously. And I said, "Well, you don't need to, though, do you? I realised that it's not on your priority list, but it's still got to be done. So let me approach it kind of in a consultative way, tell you what you need, because it's got to be fire rated and it's got to have the safety chains on because it's student accommodation. And, to be honest, a partially PVC fabric is better for students because they are not careful with anything. Sorry, students. So,
Our students we've got there.
So, yeah, it's... and what he loved about that was the fact that I almost just not took over, but did kind of just say, you've got a problem, here's the solution, I can do it for you.
I love that.
And it's back and forth, and as with these big sites, they tell you they're ready to survey, and then the day before, oh no, sorry, we're only just screening the floor. Brilliant. So that got put back, and then they still needed it done before Christmas, and I had to, as much as I wanted to say, let me see what I can do, I actually just went, you've got no chance. I need to manufacture 500 blinds, 4 weeks at least. We can fit end of Jan. So I said, yes, you've got no chance, basically. End of Jan for installation. The first lot we ended up doing kind of mid-Feb, again, because of delays on site. So that is the only thing that I found at the beginning quite frustrating, because you think, I spoke to you about this 6 months ago.
Yeah.
However, I've totally got used to that now, and actually, there inevitably are always delays on those kinds of sites, and you just have to chill with it a bit, because otherwise you would lose your head. I did quite a large quotation last week for a hotel in Manchester that are having, it's kind of blinds, curtains. They want matching bedspreads and cushions, and also it's a big project. But again, I think I spoke to him in the beginning of the week, and the people that they go to had gone bust or something, I don't know. So I need this information only by Friday night. So I spent last week my head in spreadsheets and checking and double checking, getting quotes from suppliers. Got it in Friday lunchtime. It's now Thursday, and I'm like, But again, it's just that's the difference in the process. So a domestic person who wants a couple of blinds in their house is pretty much going to make a decision on the day, regarding your price and the quality of your products, and they're going to go through easy peasy. The commercial just takes a lot longer, but it's as enjoyable, and actually that buzz when they come through is really good.
And I think you touched upon something at the start of that. You mentioned that we're all human. I think we can sometimes get very caught up into it's B to B or it's B to C, but I read something once, it's all about human to human. Even
Absolutely.
if in a business situation, that person you're dealing with is still a human being.
Yeah.
So they should still be I think the buying process and the buying journey is sometimes a little bit different, and they're still human.
Yeah, it's still the same. It's the same person, and you end up actually then maybe dealing with them on a domestic side as well. And then you meet them in a different context, and it's a bit bizarre, but they're the same person. You're the same person.
Exactly.
But I think a little bit of that as well can be, I suffered massively with imposter syndrome for ages and ages and ages, especially when I started the job, because I was thinking, what do I know about blinds? Well, actually I do now. I'm like an encyclopedia. But
I'm very conscious of our blinds.
They're clean, Rob. I have to say, they're clean. I'm not killing through the road. Okay.
To be honest.
But you once you've got faith in yourself, that the product or the service that you're selling, actually, you know, you've come to me because you need what I'm doing. Or even if I've approached you, that it was a genuine approach because I know that you do need what we have.
I'm here to solve your problem.
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing to be in any way kind of, you know, worried about or, you know, nervous about because, yeah, I've got something that you need and you know, I'm going to package it up nicely for you and talk to you nicely about it and come and meet you and, you know, we can grab a coffee or, you know, whatever it might be. And, yeah, that it seems to work. So cracking on with it at the moment.
It all sounds really positive. And I want to kind of briefly explore the early stage of your career.
Yep.
See, you worked with us had some great success with us for a while, but even before then, you started your salesy career in telemarketing. Is that correct?
Well, it isn't, Rob, because actually, my first job was on the markets.
Of course it was. Yes. You did sound
So I was working on like the big airfield markets, Donington, Wellesbourne. I can't remember what it's called. There was one down in Essex. It was brilliant. So I was like 13, 14, a long time ago. Like before Primark, before you could get ASOS like really cheap clothes online, before Boohoo and all of that, where, you know, the cheaper end of the market was on the market.
Yep.
So I think that's where I learned to talk to people and you can't stand in the corner and be shy because people just walk straight past you.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably where I learned to talk to people. Not necessarily so. It was never a hard sale. If someone saw something they liked and they wanted to buy it, then that's that, isn't it? But I'd say, yeah, that's probably where I learned to talk to people.
Right.
And then, yes, so after my A-levels, I remember I went with a girls' holiday. And I came back and I think I maybe had like a week in bed because we'd been in Malia for a week. And then one of those holidays, the first one when you're 17 and it destroys you. So I actually woke up one morning to a note under my bedroom door from my mum, like, get a job, basically.
Yeah.
Like, get a job. So I found, and this was back in the day, this was Leicester Mercury jobs page.
Yes.
I don't think it even, I know they do it online, but...
I don't even know. No, the Mercury even sent.
I don't know. I genuinely have no clue. Sorry.
No.
Yeah, and it was literally down the road, kind of sales, telemarketing, you know, come along. And that was on a Thursday. I rang them and I had an interview on the Friday, started on the Monday.
Wow, very quick. So.
Very, very, very quick. They're obviously incredibly desperate. I rocked up to the interview. I remember what I was wearing in jeans and like knee-high boots and a jumper. Don't know. Yeah,
not like your first day with it.
Probably. But yeah, it seems that I was going to. It was a proper office. All the chaps were in ties. Yeah. This is like before any kind of relaxed office wear, like you were officey.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was there for 6 years. So quite quickly, I think maybe after a year, I was managing kind of one of the larger projects that they had going on. So I think I had 3 or 4 people under me. And a team leader there, and then I did kind of a slightly different, more kind of training role for a little while. Always kind of came back to the telemarketing, always did. And then, 2010, India was born. So I had a good 9-month break. I went back for 3 months, and then had to tell them that I was pregnant again. So they loved me. So then never went back to it just because of childcare costs and everything else. It made no financial sense for me to be working. So I had a good few years off and then entered Rob Spence and Paragon.
Yeah, I still remember our conversation actually.
Yeah.
I was in town outside of a McDonald's. I can really remember the first time. But before that then, so because telemarketing, we said earlier, gets a bad name. I mean, can you remember your first day? Because it was daunting. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we had obviously a decent amount of training, but I'd never, as much as, like I said, that's how I learned to speak to people, and I think I am better face to face still now than I'm on the phone. But yeah, and that was very much, here's a massive list, and here's what you need to talk to them about, and it's scary until you speak to someone who engages with you on the phone, and you're excited, and they're kind of excited, and it works. And then once that first one's in the bag, then it's like that. Why doesn't everyone want this?
Yes.
Like that person needed and it just gives you that confidence. Look, telemarketing is a numbers game. Let's be honest.
Agreed. Yeah.
There's timing, obviously, very much involved. You get some absolute golden eggs where everything's aligned, and this was a perfect time for you to call, and you've saved my life, and it's brilliant, and I love it. But apart from that, it's just establishing that rapport.
Agreed. Yeah.
I've never been a hard salesperson. I think I don't like that approach myself. I've literally had to block someone on LinkedIn quite recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
I didn't know.
No, trying to sell me PPC and SEO services. I've said on a number of occasions that I'm so happy with who I use, so it's not happening. Well, when are you reviewing it? Well, I might review it in 6 months. Blah, blah, blah. And then he came back to me and said no again. I'm really happy. I said, look, I've got your details, and I do mean it. I've got your details, and if something ever went terribly wrong, like I will be in touch. And then I posted something on LinkedIn that wasn't even, you have to be with LinkedIn. It's like the half personal, half actually business related. So it was more of a personal, it was a me post. And he commented underneath it, like, Emily, I'm still trying to get in touch with you. I just was like, no, absolutely not. Deleted the comment and then messaged him and just said, don't ever contact me again.
Unreal. So
Ruthless.
So that's quite an interesting story. I don't want to detract from the telemarketing side, but because I think that happens a lot. There's a lot of pushy sales, but they do exactly what has happened to you. They push.
Yeah, away. I'm done with that then. Yeah, absolutely. And I would much rather, I'm not saying that obviously, from a sales point of view, if you want to sell something, you know that this product's going to work for them. And I understand the enthusiasm behind it, and I'm here for the passion of that, 100%. But read the room, listen, and I think that's what people forget with telemarketing. It's not just about you trying to get over. This is for you, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. If you're not then listening to anything that's coming back, you are going to get flat out rejected and potentially blocked on LinkedIn. Just because I just think if you're listening to me and you're understanding that I know that I know what I want, I get that, and I'm grateful for you making me aware that you also do that. Brilliant. I'm telling you I'm not ready for this now, or I'm not in perhaps we're contracted, or there's literally nothing I can do about this. We've just signed a contract, or the decision might not even be made by me. And you are not listening to that, and you'll keep coming at me. I'm just immediately turned off, and I'm switched off, not listening.
The relationship's gone even before it started.
Yeah.
So if you were to look at, let's say, let's put it this way, if you could go back to yourself, if you could go back to day one of your telemarketer self, back obviously not that many years ago, those years ago, what 3 pieces of advice about sales and telemarketing would you give that younger person?
Relax. So I think there's nothing worse than someone sounding on the phone panicky. Although, depending on what, I actually love that now. I'm like if I get a sales call, I'm obviously very nice to anything who I'm thinking. So I'm genuinely lovely to everyone that calls. Amazing. Unless they do the pushy ring. Unless they ring back. But just because I remember, it can be really intimidating.
Once again, they're still a human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I still, it's nowhere near obviously maybe as bad as it was, but that imposter syndrome thing still creeps in with me sometimes. And I think Emily King, business development manager, I think. Then I'm like, I'm Emily King. It's that whole, you don't need to be scared talking to me, at all. So relax, because not everyone's horrible. Read. I have a love-hate thing with scripts, because there's information you need to get across, and depending on what you're selling, there could be pertinent information regarding I don't know if it needs to run through some FSA policy or something like that. There might be certain kind of things you can and can't say, so you need to know that. But don't sound like you're talking off it, and literally don't sit there talking.
Read it word for word. Yeah. Hello, my name is.
Yeah, because again, you can see it over the phone.
Yeah,
when we're saying that. And number 3, I don't probably just consistency. Keep at it, because it can be it can be hard, and it can be, you can feel a bit downtrodden if you don't immediately get something. But what you've got to remember, that what you're doing with that data is cleansing it and warming it up anyway. Whether you're talking to someone every time, or whether you're having a positive conversation every time, you might find out something pertinent about that business that you pop in your notes. Oh, that's the other thing it's for. Notes. Take notes. So you very much need to record what you're learning. Yeah. And if the MD of the company's got a dog called Dave that he always walks on a Tuesday morning, don't ring on a Tuesday morning. If you ring on a Tuesday afternoon, ask him how his dog walk was. Just, those little things that show that you remember, and that you were listening, and, all of that. I mean, that would be, for me, being sold to, they would be the things that would, spike my interest and give them a chance.
So that conversation.
Yeah.
And then look, finally, I know that you're an avid networker. Are we allowed to mention your recent achievements?
Yes, you can.
So, if you're all please. So, Emily has recently become the president of a local BNI networking group. So, tell me a little bit about your BNI journey. Do you recommend sort of networking?
Absolutely. So, just before Rob says it, I think the first time I went to a BNI was probably under the Paragon umbrella. Yeah. Many years ago. Wasn't that keen, found it a bit rigid, found it quite strict. Again, whether that was my age and demographics at the time, whether I just felt like this is really male dominated, and I felt a little bit, quite a lot of the people the majority of people in most BNIs are kind of self-employed or business owners. So when you're working for someone on behalf of someone, that could feel a little bit like you almost don't have the authority to be there as well. I don't know. So I went to a few. And I went to a few, obviously, after I joined Fraser James. And, they're all very different. There's actually 18 chapters in Leicestershire. So it's growing. And there are lots of people, actually, that I've spoken to for years that were quite like, not sure about that are now members. And I think it just shows the progress that's been made within the organisation. So I visited Hydra because I knew a few of the members there. And it's completely different. I'm genuinely friends with the other 19 people in that room. And it just becomes an extension then of your marketing team. It's 19 other people that know absolutely everything to do with me, Fraser James Blinds, what we do, our products, our services, that when they're either at a business meeting or they're at a party or they're having some coffee with someone.
Or they're in an office and they see some ugly block.
Yeah, that's exactly. So it's more and more opportunities for it. And what you need to remember, especially with BNI, is that you're not talking to those 19 people, you're talking to the other people and their networks. I absolutely love it. And, we very much kind of made a return on investment within a couple of months. So it's only, it can only get better and better and better. And then to be asked or nominated or however it really kind of came about to be the president from April, I was absolutely completely flattered. I was quite dumbfounded for a little while. But every single member is 100% behind me, wants me to do really well. I've just got to be the charismatic leader with a big smile at the front. So,
and the funky glasses.
And the crazy suits and the leopard print, whatever. I don't know.
I mean, look, from me on that side of things, if anything, the presidency is too low for you. I hold you in a high regard, and I know that this is only the next.
Yeah, quite possible.
But I think it's been great to see how well your business has done through networking. Of course, there's loads of other networking groups failing, including the Leicestershire Business Network Group. So
next. Oh, it's going to be after.
Say again, sorry?
Damn it. What? Because the next one's here, though, isn't it? But it's going to be after.
Yeah, of course it is. So.
It will have already happened.
Yeah, by the time it's good.
And been super successful.
Exactly. But head on over to www.lbng.co.uk for more information about the Leicestershire Business Network Group. But for salespeople and business development managers of, I think, some form of networking event, because there's different ones that will suit different mentalities and personalities.
Look, I've said it for years. I'm all up for a bar, a glass of Prosecco and wandering around. Like, that's absolutely fine.
Is that a networking event or just a work?
Yeah, just the home, wherever, with the shop. I'm all up for that. definitely. The benefits, I think, of BNI is that you are held accountable, and you're held accountable for the other people in that room and for yourself, because there are fees, there is a charge. It does, you got to earn that, you've got to make it happen. But yes, I think from a personal development point of view, it's massively helped me kind of confidence-wise and things like that as well. I genuinely enjoy it. We get work out of it. I pass work to other business owners through it. And lots of invites to free dinners. So.
And I'm sure we'll put Emily's contact details somewhere around this vlog. And if you do want to attend as a visitor or as a guest,
absolutely, I'm
sure Emily would love to host you. So I'll pop up your contact details.
Thank you,
and reach out to Emily to, of course, learn anything more about Fraser James & Blood, or, of course, to learn about BNI. But look, Emily, I feel like we could sit here until
we literally could.
Literally been sat here before the film about all sorts
for a good hour.
So thank you so much for your time. And, until next time.
I feel super flattered. No, very guest, so thank you.
And thank you to the viewer for staying tuned throughout this whole vlog or podcast or however you're ingesting this information. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please do make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a comment below, and until next time, all the best.